In 2026, inboxes are more saturated than ever, and it's never been harder to stand out and capture attention than right now. That's why pretty good emails just don't cut it anymore. You see, the biggest e-commerce brands already understand this, and that's why they figured out how to design emails that demand attention and make clicking the email just feel inevitable. I know this because over the last few years, we've designed over 10,000 emails that have generated over $100 million for e-commerce brands. So we've seen firsthand exactly what separates a high converting email versus one that just gets ignored. And today, I brought in the person behind all of those high converting emails, someone with over 10 years of experience designing high converting emails specifically for e-commerce brands. She's gonna be designing an email completely from scratch and walking you through every single decision that she makes. So pay close attention because this is probably the most valuable video on email design that you'll ever watch on YouTube. All right, so first things first, I wanna introduce you guys to Paula. She's our email marketing designer for LTV Labs, and today she's gonna be kind of diving in and doing a deep dive of creating some really high converting email marketing designs. So Paula, thanks for joining today. Can you give us a little bit of a background on, yourself, some of your background and sort of, what is some of your experience when it comes to email marketing and designs specifically?
I work with LTV Labs. I've been working with LTV Labs for like 5 years now, I think.
Yeah.
5 years. And I used to work with other agencies, like 5 or 6 agencies at the time. And then, I met Steve and we started LTV Labs, and we started with a few clients, 2 or 3 clients. And then all of a sudden we were like a lot of clients all together, like all clients wanted to work with us, and that was extremely great. So I had to end the contracts with the other agencies. So I just stayed with LTV and very happy.
Cool. So diving into, the email side of things, can you give me a little bit of a kind of a breakdown on like what you're planning to do on today's call?
I will start with a design that it's with a brand that is called Caracal. It's one of our brands. I think we have been working together for like a year now. I will do this email that it's called the Ultimate Summer Chocolate Experience. And I'll start designing it, see if that's okay with you.
Before you actually start designing the email, I want to kind of explain to our viewers kind of the general hierarchy in terms of what actually makes a high converting email. So, when I say hierarchy, I mean like the order of importance. When they're viewing an email from top to bottom, the email just flows perfectly. We're, guiding people down and, showing them the call to action buttons and really driving them to, click the buttons within the email so they can go to the website and, finally make a purchase with us. And so on my screen right now, I'm actually going to be showing you a few different things that we follow and best practices that we follow in terms of copy and design. So that way we can make the most out of every single email that we generate. So first things first, we really want to ensure that important text, titles, discounts, and percentages are extremely visible, right? In the emails, anything that's important, we want to make sure it stands out to the user so that way it doesn't get missed. Because oftentimes a lot of brands send out emails, right, Cynthia, that don't convert very well because the most important part of the email isn't very bold and it's not very clear. Second thing is that the call to action buttons need to be big and clear. You want to have very big buttons, very big call to action buttons that actually stand out. And the email should also be skimmable. Like the main point should be coming across easily. No one wants to read like a long paragraph and spend hours and hours reading an email. So you want to make sure that, if someone opens their email like on their phone, they're easily able to kind of figure out what the main point of the email is. They're able to skim it, and they're able to kind of get the main idea out of that email just from glancing at it for a few seconds. The next thing is that there should be clear spacing and separations between the sections, because if you don't do that, then the whole email just seems very cluttered, and it's very difficult for someone to kind of maneuver through the email, and the user interface just isn't as great as if instead we kind of have separate sections that kind of lead people from section to section as if we're telling a story. I would say the most important part of the email is the hero section. The hero section is the most impactful, and so we always make sure to nail this. Do you want to talk a little bit about like the hero section and why you feel like that's important?
Yeah, sure. Actually, hero section is like the first thing that the client is going to see, especially like in mobile. It's like very small, so you have to be sure that this part is very engaging. and eye-catching, of course. So yeah, maybe using GIFs or very good quality images with very good and big titles, subtitles, and call to action. Like immediately you open the email, it's very, very important. So yeah, we have to pay like extremely attention to that.
Yeah, and it's the first thing that people see actually too. So when they first open the email, the hero section is going to be above the fold, especially on mobile. And so it's really important that we make that part stand out, and that encourages people to go past the hero section and look at the other supporting sections. So generally, when we create copy, we follow a table that's very, very similar to this, where we have the subject lines, the preview text, the different sort of sections within the email. And so Cynthia typically like takes the copy from here and kind of transposes this into her design. So we have the subject line and preview text. Obviously, that's not part of the design, but we have above the fold. So we have the hero image, the headline. So that's going to be like your main, point of the email. Whatever you're focusing on the email, that's going to be the headline. Under that, we have the body copy. And then we also have the primary CTA button. And again, remember, this is all above the fold. We want to make sure that we definitely have a primary CTA button above the fold. So that way people are going to be able to click the email way more easily and be able to come to the website. Now, below the fold, we have the supporting content section, which is the main body copy. And then we have section number 2, which is the reviews and social proof. And then we have the section number 3, which is the product range and bestsellers. Now, the supporting sections can kind of vary from email to email, but in general, like best practices wise, you want to have the main body copy, which is like the main focus of the email. Really great idea to have reviews and social proof, because that's going to, instill trust and make customers feel confident enough that you're the right brand to go with. And then typically you also want to show some bestsellers and product showcases, because we want to lead people directly to products that they might be interested in and direct them directly to the product page. And then lastly, you want to have a secondary CTA and then a footer. Where do you feel like most brands out there, like make the biggest mistake when it comes to like designing the email? Like from other brands that you see, like what are some of the most common mistakes?
I think the hierarchy of the fonts and the call to actions are maybe too small or too big. Yeah, and well, the contrast between the background and the email design, or the contrast between I mean, in a design you have to give like a breathing part, we say in design. So everything should be separate and not all together, so as to give the people who is the person who is reading it like more time to process all the information. So yeah, like a good design is like inviting you and not screaming at you. So that's very important to have.
What we'll do next is we'll dive into your screen now, and let's just build these emails live. So we'll do like a live walkthrough of an email for a brand that we work with. And if you want to, share your screen and provide any context before you start designing the email, that'd be perfect.
As I said before, I'm going to design a campaign for a brand that is called Curacao. This is the brand.
Yeah, and just for context, Curacao is a vegan chocolate brand that we work with. We've been working with them for over a year now, and yeah, they're super, super happy with us. One of the things that we really enjoy about this brand is that they provide a lot of image assets, right, Cynthia? Like they've invested pretty heavily in photo shoots and lifestyle images and product images. And, if you have an e-commerce brand right now and, you don't have many product images, that's okay, because there's like obviously things like AI that you can use, but having, really good high quality photos of your products, maybe with different backgrounds, different ingredients, that sort of thing, that's going to elevate, the emails quite a bit more. It's going to be able to, allow your designer, whoever's designing your emails, to really elevate the experience even more.
I'm going to design this email from scratch. So first of all, I'm using right now Illustrator, but I can use Figma too, or Photoshop. I decided to use now Illustrator. So I start with the title. This brand is using Poppins as the main font. Well, I've actually copied the colors of the brand from the website that is here. These are the colors of the brand, and also I know this font is Poppins because if I go to inspection and then here I can see that it's poppins, so that's
Awesome.
why I'm not using that. Um, well, I've done this before the call because otherwise maybe it take too much time.
Yeah.
What I do with this brand or with most of the brands is using menu bar, because
Hmm.
they used to work very well in the designs. So maybe I'll paste everything. Of course, I can't use all of these because Klaviyo doesn't accept that, but I'll just use maybe I will delete this and maybe this.
So how long did it kind of take you to learn how to navigate through, a tool like Adobe Illustrator or Figma? Is it pretty was it pretty like hard for you to learn, or is it the learning curve pretty shallow?
Actually, it's kind of I mean, it's not boring to learn design. I like, you can learn and you don't even realize that you're learning because
Yeah.
it's like extremely um, well
You
enjoyable. So I'll make this. Here is the hierarchy of the fonts that I talked about before. Uh, let me use another one. Well, this is easier in Figma because you have all set here at the right. So, but then you have more things to do here. So it's like a balance. I'll add a background, a color background here. Yeah, I leave like a breathing space here, here, and here. So it's
Nice.
not, yeah.
It's it's not
No,
too it's not too it doesn't make it too cluttered, right?
yeah, sure. I mean, crowded emails are not
They're not
nice
fun.
to see. Yeah. I'm going to add now an image from here. This is the folder of the brand. I want to add this image because I want to add some GIFs at the top, at the very top of the email. And this image goes with the GIFs. I'll show you now. I won't do the GIFs here live because they take like a really long time, but I will show you.
Perfect. While we're kind of working at the on the top of this email, if you scroll up to the very top,
Here?
what on that menu bar, like what makes you determine to use those, menu items specifically? Because I know on the website they have multiple items. What made you chose to
Yeah.
use those?
Well, I can't use all of the items are on the website because of
Too
Klaviyo.
much. Yeah.
I mean, I can use them, but it will be. I mean, it won't be nice on Klaviyo. It will be like all crowded. So
Right.
I think for this brand, we talked with the clients, and they said especially what they wanted to use here on this
Right.
email. So that's why I'm
And
using it.
that's important to note. Like we take into consideration what's important to our client, and what pages we want people to lead them to, in the header section of the email. And so yeah, we got that direct feedback from the client, and then that's why we implemented those specific links in the menu.
So this is the gift I'm going to use for this email. I'm going to split it in two.
Love that GIF.
Yeah, me too. So
By the way, did you make that GIF, or did the client provide that?
no, the client provided the gift, but I mean I can't use it because it's 17 seconds, and I have to cut it I mean split it because Klaviyo doesn't accept that size. I mean it'll be too heavy for Klaviyo, so I have to do two gifts for this. So this
Gotcha.
is the way the client is going to see this email. Of course, now these are PNGs and are not GIFs, but then on Klaviyo they will be GIFs. So for the client to notice that these two are GIFs, I'll have to put or make a note for them to know that this is not static.
Yeah. So basically what Cynthia is saying is that these are two separate gifts. They're not going to look the same, but in order for the client to know that this is not two separate gifts, we're going to like write a little note on the GIF, because when the client, approves this email, they're not going to be able to see the GIF because it is a GIF, and we're basically presenting them a static image.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much why that's that way. Sweet. So we have the hero section right there. So if you scroll up to the top.
So this is the hero section, like very big header. We mentioned before this has to be big because like it takes, I think, 2 or 3 seconds for the client to see this, or for the people who receive the email to open and see this, and it takes like 2 or 3 seconds to whether if the clients of the recipients wants to scroll down or not. So that's why we have to make this.
Notice too, like how, we have like you said, the text is nice and big and bold. The chocolate is nice and bold. Like we're calling out chocolate. That's like the main, thing that this brand sells is chocolate. And then we have like a nice, clever headline, but chocolate, but make it cool. And then right underneath that, we have a really cool, vibrant image of someone pouring, the hot chocolate into the mug. This is a great lifestyle image to use as part of the hero image. And this really stands out to someone that's viewing it because, just the colors and the lifestyle and the kind of the someone's actual hand, pouring the chocolate into the mug. It just makes the email to stand out that much more, and it's going to perform really, really well. So
yeah, and psychologically for the person who is opening the email, like it grabs your attention, like
that's the main thing. Yeah, that the main thing is grabbing the user's attention within the first few seconds, and this
yeah.
hero does exactly that.
So I'm going to put this as a header here.
Yeah, and then we're also going to be adding a call to action button as well, right, Cynthia?
Yeah, I put this call to action here at the very top of the email.
Perfect. Yep.
To do a call to action, I have to go to the web page and see how they are using the call to action, so we don't lose the identity of the brand. But just let me go to one of the products. So this is the call to action. I'll take a screenshot and do it exactly like that. I mean, I won't do it this long because I don't think it will work, but I'll do it like with rounded edges and everything.
Yeah. So really important note there. What Cynthia is doing is that she's using the brand colors from the website to design the call to action button. So that way everything stays congruent, right? When someone goes to the website for the first time, or anytime, we want to make sure that the emails that they're getting as a follow-up are actually congruent with the experience that they had. And that includes the brand identity, the colors, the fonts, the logos, the images, etc. And so that's why we're using this exact orange color. And also notice how, one thing that we're always going to stress in this video is that the call to action button, there should be one call to action button at the very top of the email in the hero section. So that way, that's the first thing that people see. So if someone wants to click on the button right away, as soon as they open the email, they're able to, and we want to make it, easily visible and easily available to be clicked.
So yeah, now we can continue with the rest here.
Yeah. And also quick note on the call to action button. Most call to action buttons that brands use are like shop now, order now, buy now, etc. Notice how this is like, it's more subtle, but it's actually branded with what the email is looking for. So chill with us, right? We want to kind of move away from generic copy and generic messaging. And so that's the reason why we have it like this.
I'll use uppercase because the brand is using uppercase. And it works better.
For sure. So that goes into the congruency with like, what the brand has on their website, because the brand has all uppercase, then we want to kind of, use that same identity for the emails that we're creating. As another example, right, Cynthia, the other brand that we work with, Think Coffee, all of their call to action is lowercase, actually. Like everything on their website, all the buttons, all the links are all lowercase. And so we, on our pop-up forms and on our designs, we do all lowercase, text.
We have to respect that. If they are using all lowercase, we have to keep with that this decision, because we have to stick to the brand identity.
Yes,
So yeah.
100%.
So now I'm going to do this part here again. The hierarchy of the text is very important. This part is 10% off, is very, very important in the email. So I'm going to do it orange and big.
Yeah, because we want to make it stand out. So in this email, we're offering 10% off. So we really want to make sure that offer is front and center and that it's loud, and that it really stands out and grabs attention. Why do you put the lines there next to the plus? Is there
Just
an intentional reason for that?
no, I mean, maybe because look, if you do without the lines, it looks like kind of empty.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's pathetic.
Yeah, I like it with the lines. I'm just curious behind like your reasoning behind it, but yeah, it makes sense. I feel like with the lines, I feel like it adds a little bit more texture to the emails, and it kind of makes the 10% off stand out even more. Versus if you don't have, the lines there, then it kind of all blends together and doesn't really stand out as much.
Well, we can add like a clock here because it's talking about 48 hours.
Right.
Oh, we can leave like this, or we can add a clock, and maybe I'll try to add one right now.
Cool. And what is the artboard studio that you're using? Is that like an app that you can get like designs and things?
Yes, I can. I mean, all the assets for the designs, I take them from here. Like we have like a lot of things to use, and that's great. It's really, really great to have. I mean, it's a really good tool to have. Great.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they have like a lot of different like icons and like
Yes,
and things like
and
that.
very, very, very good quality. Like
Very good quality, yeah.
yeah, and you can have like a top view or front view. It depends on the design that you're doing.
Awesome.
So I choose this one because it's minimal. I don't want to be using too much. I'll do it small. Maybe I don't use it. I just want to see how it looks.
Yeah, so that looks good. Like little icons. Whenever you can, use icons to really, illustrate what the messaging is on the email. And another option too, Cynthia, for brands when there's like a discount that's being offered with a limited time, you can put a countdown timer as well, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can do, or maybe a GIF will work too.
GIF or a countdown timer, that really helps to kind of pop out and instill that urgency for sure.
Yeah, here I have, we can cut this because I have to redo this and have much time to do that. So I will use this code. So now is the code part.
Really important that the discount code is extremely visible, and so using this this dashed border with the scissors is going to be really important to make sure that stands out and the code is visible.
Now is the time of the call to action, I think. Yeah.
Nice. So we have the same call to action button, and we have the orange color for that button as well, and all uppercase as well.
And as you can see, this is like an inverted pyramid that leads to the call to action. It's narrowing, and it's psychologically leading the recipient to the call to action.
You're basically saying that it's like an inverted pyramid, so someone's eyes are kind of being narrowed down to that call to action button, right?
Yes, sure. See, I said so. It's like this.
Yep.
It's calling the client.
So pay close attention to what Cynthia is showing on her screen right now with this triangle. Basically, we're guiding users' eyes to go from the very top text all the way down to the bottom to that call to action button. Can you kind of dive into a little bit more detail on that triangle and how that works? Yeah.
We use this to drive the recipient to the call to action. It's a strategy we use for everything that we design. It's a strategy. It has been studied that the eye works like this, from the very top of this part, then, well, actually from the very top of this part, it's like a pyramid, inverted pyramid that leads you to the CTA. So it leads the client to click here.
Yeah, so subconsciously we're guiding people's eyes directly to where we want to lead them, which is that call to action button, right?
Well, now I will start with the text. That's why I divided. I mean, the colors are different.
So this is going back to what I was saying earlier about, the different sections that are supposed to be separated. Now, Cynthia, if we were to keep the same color background for both the top and the bottom, then everything's all going to be kind of looking like it's all part of one, all one big, cluster, which is what we don't want. We want to guide people's eyes. Okay, the first section is done. Now we go into the next section. Now we go into the next section. So it's almost as if we're guiding people to the next section, and it's easy on the eyes to view, rather than if everything's the same background color, then everything just kind of looks blended together and really, really cluttered.
Yeah, sure. And boring to the eye too.
Boring to the eye, 100%.
Okay, so here I have to design 3 different parts of the email that are going to show some products. So all of them, like the 3 of them, has to be the same, but with different copies and images, of course. I will use some shadows here to give perspective.
Awesome. Why is it important to give perspective and use those shadows?
It will give rhythm to the email. Like, yeah, the main thing is going to add rhythm to the email.
Great. Yeah, I'm excited to see what that looks like as you implement it.
Okay, so for this part, I did this part because otherwise it will take like a lot of time. Just a second.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I did them manually. This part I added shadow and it takes time. So I'll start again from here.
Notice how Cynthia is using an image of one of the products and like the ingredients that are going into it. Why is that important, Cynthia, to include that image right there on the side?
Because it gives, I mean, it's good for the recipient to see the product, like how it looks like. Also, it's chocolates. Who doesn't like chocolates?
Who doesn't love chocolate? Who doesn't love chocolate? Yeah, I mean, just looking at this email myself, like when I see the chocolate, I'm like actually craving it. And, little psychological triggers like that actually make people want to buy from you. And when they see the email, they're going to want to buy from you right away. So it's really great that we're able to have some pretty delicious looking ingredients here. Everything
that it's designed has to be centered, because otherwise it loses balance.
Right. I was going to say that centering of the call to action button is what keeps everything like flowing nicely, and everything looks balanced. If you have call to the action buttons that are like all over the place, that are like, some on the left, some on the right, it just doesn't flow, visually as nice as you want them to.
Also, this part should be centered, because if I put this here, it leaves like a lot of green space here.
Yeah.
So I have to center this, and I do it like that, and it's ready.
Yeah. That's a good point. Pretty much everything needs to be balanced in the email, each and every single section. The call to action buttons, the sections, the body, the header, etc. And notice as well how we're actually using different call to action buttons throughout the email, right? We have come chill with us. We have take a sip. We have cool down now. We have a lot of different call to action buttons, because some call to action buttons might resonate with different types of subscribers. So we really want to kind of have a variety of call to action buttons that are on brand, but also compelling enough for someone to actually click on the email. Yeah, so melt the chocolate, dip your favorite fruit in it, put it in the fridge or ice cold water, then enjoy it. Yeah, so if you have a product that complements other foods or other types of ingredients, this is a great way to kind of add some color and add some life into the email. And you can use icons like this, with the app that Cynthia said she's using. What was it called again? Art Studio?
Artboard Studio, yeah.
Art Studio, perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so I think here we should have another one.
Yep, another call to action button. Yeah, you can never really have too many call to action buttons. We always want to give people an opportunity to actually click on the email, at different touch points. So, frozen chocolate dipped fruit, the hot chocolate, et cetera, et cetera. There's always an opportunity for someone to actually click on the email and buy, that specific product.
As we are starting a new part, I think, yeah. Yep. We can use another background color. I mean, the same color, but
So it's okay to use the same, background color, but you just don't want to do it in repeatable, like subsequent sections. You want to kind of mix it up so that way each section is pretty much separated.
yeah, I mean, we can use the same background color here, but we have to do something to make the recipients notice that we are doing. I mean, this is a different part.
Cool. The email is looking really, really great, Cynthia, so far.
So I'm going to add some products here randomly. Well, we have like too many ways to show products. Like we can do like a grid this way and just do it like
Yeah.
this.
Uh-huh.
But this time I'll do something different just because of the look and feel of the email.
In general, Cynthia, what do you find is the best way to present products? Like in the product section where we're showcasing maybe like 3, 4, 5, 6 bestsellers. What
Maybe
is the best
for
way to present it?
I think I mean, maybe this way is very good because it shows you more products at the same. I mean, at first glance, you can see more products at once.
Mm-hmm.
But now I want to do something different, just because I want the client to see what's inside of every product that I'm going to show. So because I mean, we have already done this grid for a cowl, this grid that I'm showing right now. We have already done that. So I wanted to do something different for this email, and I wanted to show you the ingredients of every. I mean, not of every, but of the products that I'm going to show now. So
Nice.
okay, I'm going to use these bars.
Awesome. So we're showing actual hazelnuts because they're offering hazelnut chocolate bars. So we're actually showing the nut in which the chocolate was made from. And yeah, I mean, that goes a long way because people can actually see the raw ingredients that were made and used to develop this product, which is great. So just out of curiosity, Cynthia, um, from start to finish, how long does it typically take to create an email like this? Obviously, every email is different because there's
Yeah.
different images, there's different like a different copy, things like that. But for an email like this, for example, let's say that you didn't previously have any of these assets and you're building it from the beginning from scratch. How
Yeah.
long on average would you say that it takes you?
Maybe 45 minutes, 50 minutes, or an hour. It depends on the
Cool.
length of the email, and yeah.
So if you're a designer like Cynthia, it might take you as little as 45 minutes, but if you don't have too much experience with email designs, like myself, I'm not like an expert designer like Cynthia is, but it can often, I'm sure something like this can often take maybe 2 to 3 hours, right, Cynthia, if you don't have too much
Yeah,
experience
or more.
with designing, or more. Probably for me, it'd probably take like 5 or 6 hours. Can you talk a little bit too about why it's important for the client to send assets like image assets and branding assets and that sort of thing?
Well, it's important because first of all, it gives like the impression of. I mean, if you are using high quality images, it gives the impression of premium emails and not spam or or cheap emails. So I mean, it's important to have very good quality images because of that. Also, it's important to have lifestyle images because it's good to see how people, maybe here because it's chocolate, but if you have a brand like clothing brand, maybe it's good to see how people is using that clothes. So lifestyle imagery is very important too. Also the logo, and if you have a brand guide, it would be amazing. The logo is important, the fonts. Even though I can take those from the website, it'll be like very helpful for me to have everything from the very beginning. But yeah,
Definitely. A lot of the quality of like what the email looks like does, a lot of it does come down to the type of images that are provided by our clients. And so we always value when clients are able to provide us with really high quality images and, if they invest in lifestyle imagery and that sort of thing, because that's going to elevate the look and feel of the email. Obviously, Cynthia, you do a great job of making the emails look premium and elevated, but also a big part of that too is like making sure that the actual product images themselves are, displaying nicely and they look aesthetic. So all in all, everything kind of comes together, right? Great product images with great designs. And that's what sort of builds a premium looking email.
Like everything has to be the same. If I have this space here, it should be the same here. So there we go. It has to be aligned, this part with this part, and this part with this part. Also, the space between these two cards should be the same, like everything.
Right. So everything is basically like in this email, everything is very balanced and falls in line with, previous elements in the email. And that kind of makes the email flow and it makes it visually very, very attractive to look at.
So I have chosen, because I have a lot of options on Artboard Studio to choose from, but I chose everything like kind of a recipient with the ingredients and then the ingredients.
Yeah, I see what you mean now with the shadow, adding the shadows in there. Those shadows weren't already included with that image, right? You added those yourself?
No, from Artboard Studio, they are all with the images, but then I cannot, like in these cards, I edit myself.
Ah, okay, very cool. Yeah, that shadow gives it makes it like it makes it feel like that bowl of blueberries is actually there. Kind of makes it stand out quite a bit too. It looks 3D almost. See, a lot of this, guys, is a lot of trial and error. So, right, there's like certain images that might look good, and there's other images that might not look as good. So, kind of just have to play around with it and trial and error, see what looks best for the email and best for the brand. Nice. I really like that image.
Yeah, it's really nice. I'm going to make it bigger and taller, just because I can't write or put anything on the top of this image because it will be too crowded. So I have to do this.
Nice. I really like the gradient. It kind of blends, from beige color directly into that purplish background color. It looks really good. Yeah, it's like small little things like that gradient that really elevates the look and feel of the email rather than everything just being the same, solid color. Now it really just like looks very premium, especially with the ingredients as well. So this is our secondary call to action button. It's going to be half chocolate the cool way, and it's going to be like our last call to action button that people can click on in order to get to the website and place an order right away.
Now I'm going to finish with the footer. If I have to take that from the website. Some brands do that. They do the footer darker.
So we're basically only using like the main links in the footer, like the things that actually would matter in the email.
I took a screenshot and pasted it here, but because I have to look for the icon in SVG for Facebook and Instagram, and it will take me time. But of course, this is a placeholder.
Cool. So company policy, shipping policy, Prop 65 policy, privacy policy, terms and conditions, and then we have the footer, and then we have follow us. So basically encouraging people to follow you guys on social media so that way they can reach you guys on other channels. So yeah, Cynthia, let's take a look at the overall email. Obviously everything came out really, really beautiful. So let's start from the top and kind of walk through what makes this email convert so well. But before we do that, like, can you explain like what separates like a premium looking email from like a very cheap, cheap brand? Like what is a premium looking email? What kind of elements does a premium looking email have?
This hierarchy in the fonts, the call to actions, because if I make them like really big, like this, it'll be cheap, and this is good, this is not good. So I would say balance.
Balance, yeah.
Is very important.
Balance.
Yeah, it's very harmonic, organic. As I said before, this kind of emails invites us. And
yeah, so we have the main heading right here, which is chocolate but make it cool. So that's kind of our main hero heading that's going to stand out. That's going to be the main purpose of the email, right? And then we
Yeah.
also have the main call to action button, which is chill with us. That's going to be directly above the fold. It's going to be one of the first things that people see when they click the email on mobile. Then we have the hero image, right? The hero image is going to be showing, the product in action. In this case, it's someone pouring the hot chocolate. This is a great lifestyle image that the client provided us. We have the product image in the background, some nice plant elements. Really, just is a vibrant image to use as a hero image. These are the type of images that you definitely would want to have. And then below that, we have a couple of GIFs, right? It's a couple of GIFs in this email. That's going to have like a visual kind of playful element where it's going to attract the user's eye. There's going to be a little bit of motion and movement. That's going to be great. And just to be clear, these aren't two, duplicate GIF images. It's going to be two separate GIFs that we're going to be using. So we have the GIF section right here. And then if you scroll down a little bit, we have the first sort of body section, which is discover ways to enjoy chocolate in the summer. So we're offering 10% off in this email. This is a promotional based email. So the body section is kind of focused on giving that discount, right? So discover ways to enjoy chocolate in the summer plus 10% off every bite. So the plus and every bite are kind of like the complimentary text. And notice how the discount is the only thing that's bold and orange, right? We have the 10% off, and also the call to action button right here is orange as well. And then we have like a nice clock image to show that, it's available for the next 48 hours. You can also use a timer as well if that works. And then, yeah, we have the code. The code is nice and big, nice little cutout with the scissors. So we're basically portraying that this is a coupon, right, that people can use and apply at the checkout. And again, a call to action button. The call to action button is super, super important to implement in the email and throughout the email. And then if you scroll down, Cynthia, a little bit more. Yeah, this would be like the bridge section. So chocolate and summer don't mix sometimes unless you do it right. Here's how to enjoy chocolate in the summer the cool way. So we're providing some value and some education around how people can actually enjoy chocolate in the summertime when it's hot, right? So you can have it straight from the fridge. Another call to action button that says cool down now. And if you scroll down, Cynthia, cool down with the smoothie. So you can mix chocolate in a smoothie for extra chocolatey and delicious indulgence. That'll definitely cool you down. And then the call to action button, have a sip. So that relates directly back to the actual, item that we're showing here. And then we also have the frozen chocolate dipped fruit. We're showing this, this drink right here that looks delicious, by the way. And then we have like fruits right here, like the strawberries and the blueberries, really just showcasing some of the ingredients that, one might use as they're enjoying this drink. And we also have another call to action button that says chill out now. So now here's where we have the product section. So this is going to be really important to kind of showcase some of the best selling products that, your brand offers. So in this case, we have Let's Chill. We have a little bit of text, not too much, but we have the hazelnut chocolate bars, which is a bestseller. And if you scroll down, we have the Berkeley bar vegan chocolate. So you can also see the image of the almonds and the hazelnuts up above. We also have the sea salt almond vegan chocolate, 81%. We're showing the product image and also the sea salt that they're using. And then we also have the cacao fruit chocolate if you scroll down. So images of some blueberries, cacao fruit, and dark chocolate. So again, this product section is really just displaying what are the best sellers. If someone clicks on each of individual box, they'll be taken to the product page, right, Cynthia?
Yes.
Last but not least, we have a secondary call to action button that says have chocolate the cool way. And, that perfectly blends into another, lifestyle image where we have multiple ingredients. We're showcasing the quinoa crunch milk chocolate, nice little purple background with different ingredients that are showcased. And then we finally have the footer section, right? So all in all, this is a really, really high converting email. Everything flows perfectly. We have the hero section, body section. We have multiple supporting sections, product images, different lifestyle images throughout the email. So, this is a really, really high converting email, Cynthia. And it was built, pretty efficiently by you. Obviously, you have a lot of experience using Adobe Illustrator and Figma, but as kind of a last piece of advice, what kind of advice would you leave people that are, that are brands that want to elevate their designs or want to get, similar looking designs as this? Like, is there any sort of piece of advice you can leave them?
Well, imagery is very important to have. Like with good images, I mean, the designer can do magic. If if we don't have good imagery, then we have to use AI. I mean, AI is good, but it's not that good. I mean, if you have product images, lifestyle images, that would be totally amazing and totally different than using AI. So that's very important. This brand has a lot of really good assets, so I can play around with them and I can do whatever I want because I have everything I need to create a good design.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's great. That's a great piece of advice to leave with. So again, just to sum up, you really want to have good product images as a source to start with. You want to use different icons and sort of, visual elements like Cynthia did with the fruit as an example. You want to showcase best-selling products. You want to make sure that the call to action buttons are spread out throughout the email and that you have many of them and you're showing them early. And yeah, overall, if you follow everything that we've shown in this video, you're going to see a very, very high conversion rate on your emails because everything just flows, everything is balanced, and most importantly, it represents the brand in the way that it should be represented. So, yeah, thanks for your time, Cynthia. This is great, and I'll talk to you soon. Now, after watching this video, you should have a much better understanding of what actually makes a high converting email design. But here's the thing, design is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more that actually goes into making money from email marketing. The strategies, the systems, the psychology behind what actually gets people to buy. So if you want the full picture, I've put together a 126-page email marketing playbook that covers everything that I've learned from email marketing over the last 10 years as a Klaviyo email marketer. The exact strategies and systems that we've used to get real results for real clients, like Wooflor, whose email revenue jumped from 10% to 30% of email revenue in just a few months, or Mr. Resin, who went from 17% all the way up to 61% of email revenue in just a span of 90 days. And I'm giving it away completely for free. Just go ahead and click the link in the description to grab it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.